Pauley Perrette just reminded everyone that size is never just about numbers, it's about presence, perception, and the way someone fills a room without even trying. And Star Buzz is here to dive into why her impact has always felt so much bigger than the tape measure could ever capture, because for years she owned television screens as Abby Pseudo, the gothic, brilliant, and unforgettable forensic scientist who made quirky pigtails, bold eyeliner, and those signature chokers part of TV history, giving off an aura that felt larger than life, almost statuesque in how she carried herself. Yet when fans discover her actual size, standing around 5 feet 8 inches without heels and closer to 5 feet 10 inches in her chunky boots, it always shocks them in the best way, because the truth is Pauley's influence and energy stretch far beyond those numbers. She radiates something magnetic that makes her seem 10 feet tall in the eyes of her audience, and that duality is what makes her story so fascinating, because in person, she can be both approachable and commanding at the same time, humble yet striking, soft yet edgy, and her mastery of style only enhances this illusion, whether she's in a fitted leather jacket that sharpens her rebel edge, flowing dresses that bring elegance to her frame, pencil skirts that highlight her lean athletic figure, or oversized sweaters that transform her into casual chic. And then there's her iconic footwear, the chunky platforms and boots that weren't just accessories but part of her identity, giving Abby Pseudo her unforgettable look while subtly adding inches that made her presence feel towering. Yet what truly made her powerful wasn't any of those style tricks but the authenticity behind it all, because Pauley Perrette has always been larger than life in the ways that matter most, using her platform for justice, speaking out for causes she believes in, and showing kindness that fans never forget when they meet her, which is why people are stunned when they hear her actual height, because in their hearts she'll always feel untouchable and grand. And that's the magic of her aura, the part that can't be measured, only felt, because long after the screen goes dark, people still remember how she made them feel, the way her energy and style lit up a role that could have easily been overlooked in someone else's hands. And that's where she stands apart from so many actors who fade into characters without leaving their own mark, because Pauley didn't just play Abby Pseudo. She defined her, turned her into a cultural symbol of strength, brains, and uniqueness, and that's why fans still talk about her today, because she left an imprint that outlives the numbers people get hung up on. And the reality is her so-called size isn't about inches, it's about impact, the kind that transcends charts and statistics, proving that true stature comes from confidence, individuality, and the courage to be unapologetically different. And that's why her story resonates even more now, in a time where authenticity is rare, because she never needed to exaggerate or overcompensate. She simply leaned into who she was, and that was enough to make her unforgettable. And when you think about her career and her presence, you realize she embodies something timeless, the kind of figure who shaped an era of pop culture not by towering over others physically but by radiating spirit, charisma, and relatability. And Star Buzz can see it clearly. Pauley Perrette is proof that numbers will fade but presence lasts forever, because whether she's remembered for commanding the lab as Abby, advocating for justice, or simply stepping out with her unique sense of style, one thing will always remain true: her size may surprise people, but her influence is absolutely massive, towering in ways that can't be measured, the kind that stays etched in pop culture forever and keeps fans inspired long after the credits roll.